Good evening, Universus. My name's Levi and welcome to another video. We're going to be doing another build-a-deck, this time coming off my patron Josh, the Colonel himself, gave to me what might be one of the most challenging requests you could possibly send in. He said, "Bud, I want you to make me a Shinso deck, and I want it to be spicy." And I said, "Oh, mamma mia!" But it's okay. I had ideas. He said he wanted to play it on Void because he thinks the Barrier Shield could be the thing that can keep Shinso alive. And I mean, Barrier Shield's a very good card. I've loved me some Barrier Shield action. So I was like, let me see what I can do, Josh. So I looked at Shinso and said, Shinso, what does this character want me to do? He wants me to play a mono zone deck. Is that a thing I'm able to do nowadays with the whole card pool we have? And I thought, hell yes it is. So guys, this is our how low can you Shinso Hitoshi Shin low. There are so many ways you can put the word low into this man's name. Holy cow. Okay guys, this is gonna be our mono low void weapon Shinso deck, which sounds like a whole lot of words of copium, but I promise guys, it's pretty freaking sweet. So Shinso says, name a zone, your attacks this turn get 2 speed if they match that zone. So we just have 2 speed in all of our attacks. Globally, universally, all the time, 24/7. We got 2 speed on all these moves, and I think that's pretty freaking sweet. And then when our Rebels attack resolves, we get to make them reveal a card to us, and then they've got to play it, or just get rid of it. So we're a little taxing on the hand as well, which is also kind of nice given the theme we're going for. So looking at this lineup, yeah, it's all low, guys. This is these are 6 low void weapons, and this is kind of like what really made me like, no, Josh, I can do this, because I've been playing void weapons for a long time now, and I've noticed that like the quality of low attacks on that lineup has just grown over and over every single set. And I was like, can we make a full mono low? Because even the void weapon decks I'm playing right now only have like 1 or 2 non-lows in them. So I think we could go full send, and we did. And so we got a lot of really good openers here. We have Gecko Stomp, which is just going to say, hey, take damage, or let me build the top card. They're probably always going to half block this once they figure out what you're doing, because this is the one you don't want to full block, and they're going to have to hold their lows very appropriately. Deception Stab is a throw, so it also doesn't matter how they block it, but we're going to get our damage either way, and like a 6 low for 7 is sweet. Like throw or not, this thing is just freaking sweet, man. It's just a big damage move that we get to put some nice pumps of speed on. And then Shrapnel Tooth is just a super pesky card. It's going to be a 4 low for 3 in our deck. If it hits, the next one gets 2 speed, so it's going to have 4 speed on it. Really annoying, but it's also only 3 damage. So like you definitely don't want to half block it, because you'll take 2, just take 3. But then I get to do my next, the 2 speed to the next. Then you play something really threatening like a Binding Cloth Precision, coming in with 2 speed from Shinso, 2 speed from a Shrapnel Tooth, and either 2 or 3 speed from its own ability. Yeah, this thing gets really big, really fast, and I freaking love it. Also lets you manipulate the top card of your deck a little bit, which is very nice. We have a global ability that pumps speed on every single move, so play moves that let us generate more moves. That's where our Echo Attack comes in. I think we're going to rack up momentum like a madman in this deck, because like, come on, how many low blocks are you really going to be holding? Also, we're playing a throw as well over here, so I think this is going to be online pretty often. It's going to give 2 damage to the next one, which is really nice, because damage is what we're looking for in this deck. And then if you can find a way to put 1 more speed on it, you're gonna get to freeze a thing as well, which is really sweet. 5 or more speed is not hard to do. We put 2 on it. If we hit with a Shrapnel Tooth and follow with a Twin Sword Slicer, we get to get the freeze off. If we hit them with like a Practical Studies early on in the chain, they haven't lost health yet, we get to hit them with the freeze off. So it'll happen sometimes, but we're mostly just here to be like 4 low for 4, 4 low for 6, eat it, figure out how to deal with like these strings of lows coming at you that are all just like, none of them are like horrendously threatening, but they're all very pesky in their own right, and things like Cloth Precision have the potential to get very threatening. Lastly, we have a couple Binding Cloth Captures. I really like the set of 2 of, because we are playing 5 actions in the deck that we all can use aggressively on our own turn. So this can actually be turned on fairly often. As far as making it a 3 diff, the combo's a little harder because we only have 2 combo moves, and one of them flips itself if we echo it, and then the other wants to be like real late. But this is also okay with being real late in the string. So if you can line up like the Christmas Land turned of like any move into Shrapnel Tooth into cloth precision, into an action, into cloth capture. Like, there's going to be really cool turns where you just get to just like vomit out these crazy strings. All in all though, that's our low attack lineup, and I really like it. I have a couple other things in here. Whiplash would be really cool. The issue is that like we'd have to go much more combo focused, and you know, then because like you really want this to be your second one, but all of our openers in Deception Stab, Gecko Stomp, and Shrapnel Tooth don't have combo. So this card's like way too awkward in this deck. You could play Blood Moons in this deck as well, even though it's not a low. It could still be worth it because like you're taxing their hand, then you can go like, you know, for like the right zones, right, with the lows. Then you could go like Blood Moon as the third, rip out your only low block left, and then, you know, head into something scary. I think you could just swap the Twin Sword Slicers, because this is the only card that really messes with the Blood Moon, because it flips itself, so you're not going to be able to get your 3-card combo off anymore. I think you could totally do that, but I think this card is, this is an Ekka card, it's just way too good in this deck, and I don't think that it's necessarily better than being able to play Blood Moon Rending. Going into our foundations, so like our zones are really balanced. We got 22, 20, and 16, so they're fairly balanced, all things considered. So our foundation lineup is mostly just going to be very defensive focused, because our character has 19 health and no speed reduction on face. So we're gonna just have a lot of really good blocking tools. Acrobatics can clear our blocks and destroy for -1 speed. Keeping Airy safe is stun protection. This will build down our blocks so we get more less progressive difficulty. This becomes a electric jolt we can rely on defensively when we're tanking hits. Kirishima's Assistance I think is an awesome tech in this deck because we have all low attacks in our deck. They're going to be partially blocking us a lot, and so this is going to stop us from getting breakered quite a bit, I think. Practical Studies has been a favorite in Void decks right now for me because being able to put 3 speed on your first one in tandem with Shinso's form is really nice, and it's got an insanely good deadlock, which the Void symbol kind of struggles to find. Gecko Stomp has a very good deadlock. Practical Studies has a very good deadlock. Our one of Night Watch also has a very good deadlock. Cool one of because we got like a bunch of actions, 5 of them in our 58 card deck, so a pretty hefty amount of actions that this will be online. 4 Heroic Lineage because it's our best speed reduction under the Void symbol. I'm rocking 3 Exhausted in this deck because we can commit our character all day. Like we literally we can like form, and then if we're ready to kill him and we want to start drawing cards, aggressively commit our character to pass a check, or we can block the first, or we can like let the first attack resolve, right? Block it or take it, who cares? Get your response off. After that, you're good to commit your character. So Shinso's a pretty committable guy, all things considered. So I like 3 of these for some handy dandy draw power that we otherwise don't really have inside of this deck. Web of Blades is just a cute one of that protects our stuff. Crisis is a cute one of that's a speed reset. Maybe should even be a 2 of, honestly, with like how again vulnerable we are to really high speed, high damage moves as the Void symbol. Couple Prone to Dry Eyes because we're a 7-hand size character that's trying to string, so like we're gonna have some guards to throw away for these. This also might need to be like a 3 of, maybe even a 4 of, depends on like how efficiently we find this lineup is killing people. I think we're gonna get so much damage for free off of their half blocks that I'm a little less worried about it, but there will be times where you really need to string and finish a game, and this card's gonna be very helpful. I got a 1 of Proud Sound just because I love this card. You don't have to play it, but I love it. I think it's like super duper ubiquitously universally useful almost all the time, and it's got a sick deadlock, which, as we established, we're really desperate for. And then our last one of here is Unbreakable. Our zones are like fine, but we really don't want to half block like ever as a 19 held guy, so Unbreakable can kind of tidy those things up a little bit. Again, a lot of good 3 diffs here, and honestly a lot of good options that maybe should be at higher quantities, which is just something that you'll probably figure out if you actually start playing this deck a little bit past just this first draft stage. Next up, we got 5 actions, 2 barrier shields, because I think more than 2 is a little suspect, especially with like our deck's on the smaller size, at only 58 cards. It's pretty efficient. So I think 2 of ensures we'll see probably 1 of them every game, and it's just going to help us survive a little bit. Give us that survivability, help us protect that 19 health, you know, barrier shield this one. When your next one gets scary, Heroic Lineage it up, get some nice blocks off, build your block down with Manly. You know, it's not like a crazy amount of defense, but I think it's a fair amount, all things considered, for the Void symbol to be mustering. Then I've got triple Ruthless Mockery because I wanted an aggressive action to play. I think this could also be maximum hardening because I think 2 speed and 2 damage to all your moves is really sick, but I like Ruthless Mockery in here because we are playing for Easily Excited, and so being able to like easily excited a thing, put a speed on it. Shinso's got 2 speed on it, so it's now a +3 speed move. Now we can put 2 damage on it, and it has taunt because of Easily Excited, so we get to also draw a card and give stun 1. We put 3 speed, 2 damage, stun 1, and replaced our card on it, and we turned on Binding Cloth Capture, which I also think is very cool. But there's also an argument for maximum hardening because it puts us 1 card easier to play our Binding Cloth Precision as the 5th card, right? We don't actually have to raw play 5 cards. We can go maximum hardening, 3 attacks, Binding Cloth Precision. I think both are very cool. And you could really go either way. Maybe even like a 2 Ruthless Mockery, 1 maximum hardening split, because they also both have really great defensive abilities. -2 damage for the turn is going to save us. -4 damage on this one, and Build It Down is also going to save us. So those are both great options. And then as far as the other foundations go, if you wanted to, you know, get your load blocks a little bit more up, you could probably rock Gotcha instead of like Acrobatic or keeping Airy safe. I think Mediator would be so cool in this deck because we're playing 5 actions that we love to use defensively. So -3 speed draw a card is really good. The issue is that like the high block zone is my most loaded zone, so it's just kind of a tough one to fit in. Same thing goes for All Worked Up and Sense of Justice. I think this for like a little bit more speed reduction in the deck could also be really good. Everyone's playing a lot of tribal stuff these days. A lot of punch decks running around, of course, as we all know. So I think Sense of Justice could have like a good stuff to do right now. Again, you know, just a matter of my high zone's already pretty overloaded, so we'd have to cut some corners. But you know, if we're just playing this deck and dying way too much, we might have to pivot some more defense to our foundations. All Worked Up kind of gets to play both sides of that angle, and if I was playing Prone to Dry Eyes for some more discarding outlets, I would be a lot more in love with this card. And then lastly, if you just, you know, if you do anything to this deck and need to fix the zones up, Tape is always going to help cover you there as a mid block. That also changes things to mid. And that, guys, is my mono low Shinso deck. I think this is a super neat concept, and I feel like I look at this deck and I'm like, I could play this on other characters and actually miss what Shinso is doing to this deck by putting 2 speed and everything, you know, save for like Eraserhead, but like that's not a fair comparison. That's like the best character in the game, right? Any other character, right? And I can actually feel like Shinso is doing something unique to this deck, and at the end of the day, like the point of this deck was because we want to play Shinso, so that's what we're doing, guys. We're doing the freaking thing. That's going to be it for this Build a Deck, though. If you want to try it, I'm going to have it linked down below as well. Thank you to Josh for commissioning this video, and of course I have it linked down for you as well, my friend, so you can actually sleeve up this bad boy. And if you want an experience very similar to this, you can hit up my Patreon, also linked down below. For the Build a Deck tier, you can send me a concept just like this to just make from scratch, or you can send me something you're working on that you want me to maybe try and refine a little bit in case you have some questions or concerns with it. Whatever you want, guys, I'm here to help. All things considered, though, just thanks for making it to the end of this video, man. I appreciate it, and I hope I get to see you in the next one.